Guys, I did it. I was a big brave dog and I watched Terrifier. And you know what? It wasn't that bad. I think I psyched myself up too much, or maybe it was the fact that the scene I saw on TikTok is actually from part 2 and not part 1, apparently. And I hear part 2 is worse. So that could be it. If you haven't seen Terrifier, it's a very 80s-esque, like, brutal slasher flick. Like, it really made me start to question who's actually, like, more brutal in the gore department, Eli Roth or Sam Raimi? I mean, Eli Roth on one hand has the remake of The Green Inferno and Hostel, which I mean, like, Hostel only has like 20 minutes of freaky shit. But then you have Sam Raimi, who famously has a woman take her own arm off with one of those electric carving knives, and the entirety of Evil Dead 2. And I don't think he directed it. He may have been a producer on the new Evil Dead Rises, which was pretty fucking brutal too. But anyways, that's mostly what it has going for it. It has a very scary looking clown man and a lot of really graphic death. And I mean hella graphic. Did you ever see Bone Tomahawk? Yeah, that happened. Was it Bone Tomahawk? I think so. Whatever. Is it my favorite? No. But I will give credit where credit is due. And Damon, I don't know his last name, sits firmly between Eli Roth and Sam Raimi in the gore department. He has made his name and he can sit there respectfully. Will I watch part 2? I.e. the one I saw the scene on TikTok from in the bedroom. Maybe, but I'm gonna have to get liquored up for that one. Like Sandra Lee level liquored up. 6 out of 10. Okay, now that we've gotten through that part, would you like to hear some weird lore I have created in my head for Art the Clown? It doesn't make any sense, and from what I hear, he's really fucking old, but I made a thought in my head, and I need to say it out loud. So you know the great arch nemesis in life? You know, He-Man has Skeletor, Harry has Voldemort, I have Stairs. Art the Clown absolutely has a nemesis, and it's a relative. Who might that relative be? The Grinch of Mount Crumpet. Hear me out. They're very similar in their humor and their body style, so they're very active in their face. Their body language is extremely overacted, not in a bad way. Like, Art never says anything, but you can always tell what's going through his head on his face, much like the Grinch. And my thoughts being is if they aren't brothers where Art is a little bit older, then they're at least like distant cousins, which I have lore for too. So you know how the Who's down in Whoville always talked about the Grinch like he was the worst thing on the planet just because he didn't like Christmas? Like he was some sort of common criminal, except that time he did steal Christmas, but up until then he hadn't really committed crimes, except at the Whovilation. But years prior, you see what I'm saying? Here's what I think happened. If they really are related, imagine like a family gathering, a family reunion or something where Art is already known in Whoville. And, you know, he actually is violent and horrendous. And then one day he leaves to, I guess, go to the human world or some shit. But that leaves the Grinch to grow up in the footsteps of Art. And everybody assumes he's just going to be a horrible person, too. And this, like, little homage picture here is exactly what I think happened at one of the family reunions when he's the older cousin and the Grinch is watching him do weird shit. The fact that Art is immortal probably means he might be part Who. Which would make sense because the Grinch is raised by Who's.
What the fuck are you watching?
Don't judge me! In conclusion, Art used to be a Who down in Whoville, and he's distantly related to the Grinch, and his bad reputation is why the Grinch was so hated in Whoville. The end. Okay, bye. All eyes on me in the center of the ring, just like a circus. When I crack that whip, everybody's gonna trip just like a circus.